Hi, welcome to Moonlit Fly Fishing, fly tying night tonight. I'm Brandon Moon. Tonight we're going to be tying up what we call the Imperial Quill Nymph. This is just a basic play off of a Prince Nymph pattern using a quill body instead. A little more sleek, a little more aerodynamic, less abrasion as it sinks into the water, and the segmentation gives a really nice realistic look along with the versatility of colors. So with that, we want to go ahead and get started. Thank you for watching. The hook that we're going to be using today is the Moonlit Premium TOATA ML 502 or 501 in a size 14. We tie this pattern anywhere from a size 12 through 16. The bead we're using for this one on the size 14 is the 3.0 millimeter metallic coffee brown. For the thread, we're using 12-aught classic wax burnt orange. And we're going to lay a nice even foundation going back to the bend of the hook. And then just past the bend of the hook, I'm going to create a little bit of a bulge here to help splay and separate out my tail that I'm going to tie in with Goose Biots. So once I've created that bulge that you see there, and this again just helps splay out my tail, I'm going to take some blue dun Goose Biots from Semperfli. I'm going to measure this out to be roughly about the length of the hook shank. Now I'm going to lay that over the top once I've measured that out with the loose wrap. I don't want to go too tight, and then I'm going to slide that thread back to my back point there. I'll give it a couple wraps over the top, trying to hold my biots in place. Once I've got that on, I'm going to situate them just a little bit and then lock my thread in front. You can see my biots still like to move just a little bit, so I'm trying to secure those down right where I want them, nice and tight. Now we're just going to finish securing this biot in going up to the bead. I'm going to trim these off just short of the bead so that I can wrap it up and create a nice even underbody. Pinch that down so that I can finish tightening and securing and wrapping it all the way into the bead. Now I'm going to go back to the tying point of the tail there. We'll just go back all the way. Again, we're trying to create a nice even underbody as best we can. You can see right here how my leg tail splays out because of that bulb. I'm going to take cinnamon colored 3 millimeter perfect quill from Semperfli, and I'm just going to tie that in with the sticky side on the hook shank. I want the darker color of this quill to be on the back side of the hook here. I'm going to create a little bit of a slender taper with my thread going forward and backwards several times, all the way to the front and then back short of where I was previously. I don't want to do too much because I want a nice slender profile, not a big bulky profile to this fly. And this is going to be more a matter of taste here. Once I've finished that, I'm going to take and half hitch this thread right here, set my thread off on the side under the over the bobbin rest. Now I'm going to take my quill, and you can see I'm wrapping that with that dark edge on the back side with open spiral wraps. You can see that we're creating a nice segmented body, using the color of the thread underneath to also add color to this pattern as well. We'll wrap that all the way up into the bead. I'm just going to take and secure that down. Tighten up my thread so I can finish wrapping that. Over the top a couple, in front a couple. Now I'm going to set my thread off to the side again over the bobbin rest just so that I can trim this out as nice and smooth and neat as possible. So we'll trim out that synthetic quill here, and then we'll take and secure it down with some thread wraps over the top just to secure it in. Once I've secured that, I'm going to take and whip finish here, and you'll see why. Snip out my thread. Now we're going to treat this. You can use Sally Hansen's, or you can use UV resin. I'm using Solarez thin hard UV resin. I'm just going to put a little bit on the top side there. Use my bodkin to spread it out a little bit. I need a little bit more. I don't want to put a lot of resin on here, so I'm going to put just a little bit more on the underside. And then I'll take and even that out again with my bodkin. And I'm going to throw that all the way down into that thread bulge there as well. Make sure I rotate it to even it out some. Use my UV pen. Cure this up for just a few seconds as I rotate it. Once I've done that, I'm going to take some 12-aught floral orange classic wax thread. We're just going to secure that down, snip it out with our razor blade. You can see I've got a tag in there I missed, but now I'm going to take some 1 32nd inch Mirage orange tinsel. I'm just going to secure that and pull it back until it's no longer there. I'm going to do the same thing. Start at the front. Not too tight on my wraps because I'm pulling that tinsel back in. You can see it's now showing that the tag end's not showing. And this is going to give me a little bit of a split case on my wing case here. Now I'm going to take a little bit of rust brown Moonlit pine squirrel dubbing. This is really good dubbing for these nymphs on these collars. And I'm going to put a really small dubbing rope here, noodle on this thread. And I'm going to use this to help splay out my legs just a little bit. So I just cover up the backside of that thorax. Now I'm going to take some Goose Biots in the blue dun again. I'm going to measure that just about halfway back of the body. I don't want to make these legs too long. We'll just secure that in place over the top, lock it in front one time. Now we're going to take and do the same thing on the opposite side. Again, just about halfway back of the body. We don't want the legs to be too long. I'll just pin that in place with my finger here and then secure it down with some thread. 2 wraps over the top, wrap in front. I'm just gonna make sure I secure and get these biots locked in place so that they don't rotate on me. Now we'll trim that out as close as we can. Make that as clean a trim as we can there. And you can see it's not completely clean, but we'll cover that up with our dubbing. We're going to take some more of the rust brown dubbing. Not a whole lot, just a small pinch again. And we'll just create a nice little dubbing rope noodle on there. This pine squirrel dub's really easy. I'm going to use the dubbing and the thread to push back the excess biot and then cover it up. Now I'm going to take the 1/16 Mirage Iris tinsel that I put in last, And I'm going to go over the top light, and then I can adjust it so that it centers up on that nice and good. Pull the orange tinsel over the top of that. Do the same thing. It's going to be off centered. And then I'm just going to take, without pulling it too tight, make sure I tighten that in, move it where it needs to. Now, once I've secured that, I'll pull it back and create a few wraps in front, where I'll now trim this out as best I can. I want that tinsel to be going back over the wing case there versus in front. Now I'm going to take a whip finisher and whip finish this fly with the couple turn whip. You can see now I've got a hot spot collar here. Again, we're going to take the Solares thin hard UV resin, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a bulge over that, and you can see that covers up that tag end of tinsel. We'll cure that up, and you can see the nice hot spot collar with the wing case and the thread. Gives us a nice hot spot, and there you have the Imperial Quill Nymph. Thank you for watching.